Imagine having your own collection of professional text animations, ready to use in just one click. The best part? You don't need a single plugin, expensive template, or third-party script. Everything is created using only the built-in tools in Adobe After Effects. In this tutorial, we'll build these animations completely from scratch, step by step. Then we'll save them as our own custom animation presets, so you can reuse them in any future project in seconds. And don't worry, it's much easier than it looks. Let's jump into After Effects and start creating. Let's begin by creating a new composition. I'll set the resolution to 1920 by 1080, which is full HD, with a frame rate of 25 frames per second. For the duration, you can choose whatever suits your project. Let's add a new text layer. I'll keep it simple and type preset. We've already seen how to use the built-in text animation presets in After Effects. Now it's time to create our own from scratch. Let's open the text layer. Click on Animate, and let's start with our very first animator, Position. The Position animator allows us to animate the movement of each character individually, giving us complete control over how our text enters the screen. When we select Animate Position, After Effects automatically creates an animator and adds a range selector. Think of the animator as the effect we're applying, in this case, position, and the range selector as the controller that decides which characters receive that effect and when. Click on Animate once again, and this time choose Skew. On its own, it's a simple effect, but when it's combined with the range selector, it can create some really stylish and dynamic text animations. Try changing the skew value and also experiment with the skew axis. Even small adjustments can completely change the personality of the animation. This is where the fun really begins. Don't be afraid to experiment with different values. There are no fixed rules here. Some of the best text animations come from simply playing with these settings and discovering effects that you didn't expect. As you continue exploring the different text animators, you'll start to understand how they interact with one another. Once you grasp that concept, creating your own unique text presets becomes incredibly easy and a lot of fun. Go to the Animate menu and choose Scale. Just like the Position and Skew animators, this one is applied to each character individually. Try increasing the scale value. Notice how the letters become larger before returning to their original size as the range selector moves across the text. Now preview the animation. Instantly, you've created a unique effect. But don't stop there. Experiment with different scale values. Try subtle animations. The real fun begins when you combine the effects. Each animator contributes its own behavior, and the final animation is a combination of all of them. Add a little more style to our animation by animating the text outline. If your text doesn't already have a stroke, simply enable one in the character panel by choosing a stroke color. Increase the stroke width value until the outline becomes clearly visible. Choose any color you like. I'll use a bright blue, but feel free to experiment with different colors that suit your design. Let's add a rotation animator. A subtle rotation gives each character a little extra personality and makes the animation feel much more alive. Experiment with different values and see how it transforms the overall look. Another animator that can completely change the look of your text is tracking. Let's add a tracking animator and increase its value. Notice how the spacing between the characters changes as the range selector moves across the text. This simple adjustment can make your animation feel elegant, cinematic, or energetic, depending on the values you use. Try combining tracking with position, scale, and rotation. Even subtle changes can create completely different animation styles. Experiment with different values and preview the result. Sometimes the smallest adjustments produce the most impressive effects. Now let's take our animation to the next level with per character 3D. First, make sure the 3D switch is enabled for the text layer. To better understand its effect, I'll temporarily turn off the visibility of all the other animators we've added so far. This lets us clearly see what this feature does on its own. Now go to Animate and choose Enable Per Character 3D. This doesn't animate anything by itself. Instead, it gives every single character its own 3D space. Now we can add X rotation, Y rotation, Z rotation, or even 3D position and 3D scale, allowing each letter to move and rotate independently in three-dimensional space. Try animating the Y rotation or X rotation while previewing the animation. You'll immediately notice how much more depth and impact it adds. Simply turn the visibility of the other animators back on. Unlike standard 2D text animation, each character can now flip, twist, and move through 3D space independently, making your animations far more dramatic and cinematic. Once you're happy with the 3D effect, you'll see how all these animators work together to create a rich, professional-looking text animation. This is where custom text presets really begin to stand out. By combining multiple animators with per character 3D, you can create unique animations that would be difficult to achieve with a single preset alone. Now let's create a second text animation. Create another text layer, then enable the 3D switch for the layer. From the Animate menu, choose Enable Per Character 3D. This gives every letter its own 3D space. Next, let's add a scale animator. Reduce the scale value so each character starts smaller. Add a Y rotation or X rotation animator. Give it a value of around 90 degrees so each character rotates as it moves toward the viewer. Now animate the offset property of the range selector from -100% to 100% and preview the result. Notice how each letter scales up, flies in from deep in 3D space, and rotates into place one after another. It's a simple setup, but it creates a dramatic cinematic reveal. Feel free to experiment with the scale, Z position, and rotation values. This is the real strength of After Effects text animators. By combining just a few properties, you can create professional animations that are completely your own. For an even better result, enable the layer's motion blur switch and also turn on motion blur for the composition. This adds natural blur as the characters move, making the animation feel more realistic and professional. The combination of position, scale, rotation, 3D transforms, and blur creates a rich, high-quality animation that's entirely built with After Effects native text animators. No plugins required. If you'd like to make the animation even more polished, you can add one more animator, Blur. Go to Animate and choose Blur. Increase the blur value, then preview the animation. As each character animates into place, it gradually sharpens, creating a much smoother and more cinematic reveal. Remember, these are just a few possibilities. Mix and match different animators, experiment with the values, and you'll discover countless unique text animation styles that you can save as your own custom presets. Once you're happy with your animation, it's time to save it so you can reuse it in future projects. Select the text layer, then go to Animation, Save Animation Preset. Give your preset a meaningful name and save it. After Effects stores it in your User Presets folder. The next time you need this animation, simply open the Effects and Presets panel, expand Animation Presets, then User Presets, and you'll find your preset there with the same name you saved it. Now all you have to do is drag and drop the preset onto any text layer, and your complete animation, including all the animators and their settings, is applied instantly. This is one of the biggest time savers in After Effects. Instead of recreating the same animation over and over again, you build it once, save it once, and reuse it whenever you need it. Congratulations! You've just created your very own custom text animation preset using nothing but the built-in tools in After Effects. And that's it! You've just learned the foundation of creating your own custom text animation presets. Think of these animators as different colors on an artist's palette. By mixing and combining them in your own way, you can paint virtually any text animation you can imagine. Don't be afraid to experiment. Change the values, combine different animators, preview the results, and discover your own unique animation style. Before long, you'll build a personal library of clean, professional animation presets that match your creativity and workflow. Instead of depending on presets created by someone else, you'll have the knowledge and confidence to create your own whenever inspiration strikes. If you found this tutorial helpful, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.